What's good, y'all? It's Xylars, and I think it's time we talked about the elephant in the room. These towers, this system, it sucks. Nobody. Now, let me be clear. I actually do like doing the towers, but I don't want to do them. There's no reason for me to want to do them. They're not rewarding, and it doesn't matter how pretty you make them. It doesn't matter how much variety of them you give me. It doesn't matter how good their layout is, what mobs are in there. At the end of the day, unlike this node right here, you can't apply any things to them. And if I'm being honest, that kind of makes them complete ass. And that sucks, because Bluff, Mesa, Alpine Ridge, even the reworked Lost Towers layout are all pretty good maps, and I like to do them. But as it stands, running these towers is a waste of my time. And that sucks, because PoE 2 is a very time-demanding game. So to waste some of it is, it's not great. I have a few ideas and a few thoughts of what could end up salvaging this system, while still kind of working around what it appears to be what GGG wants from it. I actually like the Endless Atlas type progression. I actually like the variety in the maps. I actually like what they're going for here, but it needs some tweaks. Now, the first suggestion would actually still keep the tower system pretty much the same, but like how when I open up this Waystone and you get this little square of 4 whatever, map device slots, instead of us sitting here and running the whole tower and then having to put the thingy in and juice everything nearby, my first suggestion for addressing how map progression and juicing works at the moment in the in-game would be we should put the tablets in the map device with the map when we run it. Its effects will apply to that tower and also to all towers within range, on top of the 5 to 10 maps that it says that it will apply to. That way, towers can get juiced very consistently. They can feel just like running Waystones. You won't have to do the map, then put the thing in afterwards and beam it out. Instead, it will be a more seamless process, and it'll make use of these empty map device slots we currently have. If they have plans for this in the future, instead what they could do is simply give us that same UI element beforehand, put it right there, or where it normally applies, and it'll be a whole separate thing specifically for tablets. This way, you keep the tower system, you juice your towers just like they are maps, and we get a bit more juice in our in-game mapping. And the overall mapping feel will in our in-game mapping and the overall feel of map variety, map progression, map sustain, and juicing will kind of be a bit more cohesive and feel better for the player. But this is a bit of a two-part solution, because we have another problem. As we all know, sometimes this map likes to show up, and this map's not very nice. I hate this map. They recently made it better with the lever changes, and they made it better by nerfing the most egregious mob that exists, period, the snake spitters. But I still don't want to run this. It sucks for Breach. It's not much better for Ritual. I don't know what this map does well, and frankly, I don't want to find out. I don't want to run it anymore. Same with Val Factory, same with Seepage, and even though Crypt is kind of short, I'd rather run something else. It's not a great layout. Personally, I don't know how this hasn't been brought up yet. I don't know how no one's talked about this. Where the fuck are our Verizon? Where are Horizon orbs. My second suggestion for what they should do for in-game mapping. They should add horizon orbs into the game. These are something that exists in PoE 1. It lets you change one map to a different map within the same tier. Usually it falls off in its utility roughly, I don't know, after the first weekend in any given league. But here, it would go so fucking hard. Being able to just, even if they were somewhat rare, on occasion, change which map I need to do for a travel node, change which map got affected on the atlas that I don't want to run. This seepage has a ritual. I don't want to run a seepage, but it has one of my rituals, so I'm probably going to. Even though it's only going to give me 1,500 shekels, I'm still going to do it. Pretty annoying. I wish I could change this to something else. I'm not asking to always run the same map over and over again. I kind of like how the way the in-game atlas is, has moved away from that. But I would like to avoid the things I literally fucking hate doing. I understand the value and the variety, and honestly, you would still keep that. There's so many different map layouts and tile sets that if you use these egregiously, trying to force the best maps for whatever content you're doing every single time you're doing that content, you simply won't be able to sustain them, and it'll probably be too expensive. In Trade League, it'll be too expensive for you to do. SSF, you probably can't sustain it. So you'd use them sparingly in order to avoid running the literal worst layouts imaginable. I think, personally, that with these two changes implemented, honestly for me, 90 to 95% of my in-game mapping frustration and pain points would get resolved instantly. I wouldn't have to run these awful layouts as often, or these tile sets as connecting nodes that I hate doing, or these tile sets that have eaten up all of my juice that I've tried to put out into the atlas, so I can make one map that's been hit with everything. Decay is not the worst thing imaginable, but there is much, much better, and I could try to get something much, much better here. Same with the towers. I would love to run those maps, Mesa, Bluff, Alpine Ridge, but instead of literally being just a blank slate with some magic monsters, some rare monsters, and maybe a few chests, some essences, a strong box, but actually have breach, actually have ritual. And I think it's a problem that will only get worse as more league mechanics are added, as more things are put into the game, as juicing gets more and more absurd. The feeling of running a tower only gets increasingly worse. At this point, you just want it to be something that you can get done with as literally fast as possible. If you could choose to not kill a single monster, spawn at the end, click the thing and leave, you would, and I think that is a failing. I think objectively that is a failing. There's no argument for it. There's no, some merit to having to do something not worth running other than just wasting your time. There's no merit to what it currently is. It doesn't provide anything. Maybe it slows you down for a little bit. The only thing it really does is it's the only part of the end game I get to interact with that isn't covered in fucking delirium. So it has that going for it. But pretty much as it stands, if I can't put league mechanics on these towers, I'm always going to hate them. And they're only going to get more and more obnoxious to run the longer and longer I play. Hopefully some of this feedback reaches GGG. Hopefully somebody, if not me, somebody with more clout asks these questions, or the community becomes more aware of this discussion and these topics and brings this up to someone like DM or Gazzy. But I would really, really like some changes to the way these are working at the moment. It's just, they're very lackluster. If you agreed with this, or you have your own thoughts about what you would like to see changed in the endgame, or how you would fix the towers and the mapping system, leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.